All right, fellas. Well, this is a little bit of a teaser or maybe an appetizer for a 4th of July activities draft.
Uh-oh.
And don't worry, listeners, we met before. We were on the same page on what we're drafting, so no worries there. But I have something I'm
How
going to
come
throw
you're looking at me? That's what I want to know.
No, I wasn't pointing fingers at anybody. I'm going to say something I know I'm going to get outranked on this podcast.
Uh-oh.
But what I'm about to say, I think applies to a lot more people than you guys are willing to admit. So the 4th of July is a holiday. Listen, I know I'm kind of the negative Nancy on this show. I don't try to be. I'm going to say something right now. Halloween, I love the Halloween holiday. I love Halloween. I don't really partake in it. But as an observer, I love the costumes. I love the candy. I love everything that Halloween is about. I love the fall. So let me just throw it out there. I love Halloween as a holiday. Yeah. When you think about major holidays in the United States, here's the list that I have and where I rank 4th of July. Number 1, Christmas. No brainer. It's the best holiday that there is. Number 2, Thanksgiving. I mean, what's better than Thanksgiving? You got football. You got the best meal of the year. Thanksgiving, number 2. That's another no-brainer. Number 3, Halloween. Again, I just said how much I love Halloween, everything about it. I am such a Halloween fan. Now, this is where it's going to get contentious. Flat out. Labor Day is a better holiday than the 4th of July. 100% better holiday. 1, college football is on.
Yeah.
2, it is a guaranteed 3-day weekend. Like 4th of July this year, dude, it's essentially a Sunday, just in the middle of your week.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, how much am I going to celebrate the fireworks when I got to be up at 6 a.m. the next morning? I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy that. Number 5, this is from the same ilk, Memorial Day. It's the start of summer. It's also another guaranteed 3-day weekend. Now, this is where 4th of July comes in. Number 6, 4th of July. Everything I just said, Sunday scaries. Now, I will say one counterpoint I would have to myself. I've said it before. I think the 4th of July food spread is arguably better than Thanksgiving. Now, that's the only argument that I have for 4th of July. Other than that, it's not my favorite. The only holiday I have below 4th of July at number 7, New Year's Eve / New Year's Day. You guys all know why I hate that. You're damned if you go out because you're going to drop $300 and it's going to be slam packed. You're damned if you stay home because you feel like you're missing out on all the fun. So that's my list. I mean, am I crazy? Where do you guys fall on that?
That's solid. It's hard to argue Christmas being number 1. Just all the family gatherings and just the spirit and everything around Christmas. Usually you got the lights up, and if you get some snowy weather and stuff, Christmas is pretty cool. You've always been one that says you think the beach is kind of overrated. Not a big beach person, so I can understand why the 4th of July, that might be a tease for our draft later.
Mm-hmm.
Why I think 4th of July should be much higher on your list. Same with the food thing, but you're in support of the food, because I don't think the Thanksgiving spread is better than the 4th of July spread. So that's part of it.
I don't want to cut you off, but here's why I said you guys are going to disagree. Matt, you have an awesome spot up north. Obviously, you love 4th of July.
Yeah.
Ted, you have a boat and you have a lake house. Obviously, you love 4th of July.
Yep.
All of us other normies, no, it's not that great. It's kind of overrated, to be honest. We're two totally different ends of the spectrum. I'm telling you, I think a lot more people, when they really think about it, are going to align with myself more than you guys.
I will say this, Jared. I'm glad you did some work on this. This is well thought out.
It wasn't much work, man. It was 5 minutes racking my brain.
You came up with a topic. You laid it out. You have good arguments. In the past, I've said before how much I like the 4th of July, and I do. A part of it's because my birthday is 1 week later. So, it's kind of combined 4th of July, my birthday, summertime, all that good stuff. If I had to be put in a corner and picked a holiday that would be my favorite, it's not so much at this stage of my life, Christmas. I like maybe Thanksgiving a little bit better, just for the whole family thing, all breaking bread at one table, and getting together. Christmas is right there with it, but then I would probably have the 4th of July solidly in third, and I understand what you're saying about Labor Day, but to me, the start of colder weather kind of overrides football. I mean, you could almost look at it as a 5th season, the football season, right. You know what I mean? But
I mean, Labor Day is 4th of July with football. How is it not better?
Yeah, I hear you. And I do get the 3-day weekend guaranteed. That is a bummer on 4th of July.
I was going to say the built-in 3-day weekends on Labor Day, Memorial Day does take those up a notch. Now, Jared, and you too, Ted. Jared, you work in a field that stuff doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah, I've worked multiple Labor Days. I've worked on Thanksgiving. I've worked on Christmas Day, because what are we doing on those holidays? We're watching sports.
Right.
So that's the one thing. The 4th of July falling on a Thursday this year, I heard some people talking about, like my wife, even her office is open on Friday after 4th of July. And people were like, that's where, like you were saying, Jared, you stay up late to try and watch the fireworks, or, enjoy the holiday. But a lot of people have to go back to work on Friday. And then, so it's just really strange. Some of these holidays, like we've talked about with Super Bowl, or, some of these other ones, I know 4th of July is on a specific date, the 4th of July, but it's like, they should just build it into the weekend, give people the long weekend, figure out something like that. But the Labor Day, Memorial Day thing, 3-day weekend definitely takes it up a notch.
The bummer of the 4th of July on a Thursday, you never know which way your company is going to go. Are they going to give you a 4-day weekend, or are they going to make you work on that Friday?
Right.
So, but agreed. The 4th of July is that, like, I remember it was my first year out of high school. The 4th of July fell on, I think, a Friday. Went to Higgins Lake. Now that was a party. Now that was a blast. But again, that's once every 7 years. Man. It's I think we went through Monday 4 years ago, Tuesday 3 years ago, Wednesday 2 years ago. This year, I guess maybe I'm a year off on all that.
Right.
We've been going through it, man. We're finally about to get to the good 4th of July is coming up, but then we got to restart the cycle.
Yeah.
Got to restart the cycle.
Yeah, it's one of those things. The government should just say, you get a day off one way or the other, a Friday or a Monday. You got to get a day off, but
something.
We'll see what happens.
Is it just me? Why do I feel like I have the worst, like, Sunday scaries is how I describe it, every 4th of July? It's like, the whole day I'm just like thinking about work the next day. It just reminds me so much of a Sunday. That's why I don't like it.
Well, because you work in a field, the Tigers usually play the day after. So you probably have to go work the Tigers game or something the day after. So that's probably part of it. But with 4th of July coming up this week, we were going to do it's kind of become a tradition, our draft, whatever topic we choose, whatever it is, whether it's food, holidays, whatever, we'll go through and we're going to draft it doesn't have to be 4th of July specific, your typical fireworks, beach, cookout or whatever. Anything that is around summer / 4th of July. We're going to go through our top 3 with some honorable mentions and do a little draft. Do we want to start oldest this time? Ted, you want to start number 1?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, I'll just get what I think's the obvious thing out. I'm sure we'll have some debate on this, but I look forward to fireworks every 4th of July. Number 1. I mean, I've been, ever since I was a little kid, going to different areas and watching fireworks. I've seen them up in Ludington. I've seen them up in Harbor Springs. I've seen them in Bay City. Corunna has stepped up here in the last 20 or 30 years, and they have a big 4th of July fireworks spread. And out here at the lake, we have fireworks. So that's number 1 for me. Looking forward to the fireworks. So
fireworks is your 1 of 1 4th of July.
Yep.
It's on paper, it is the obvious 1-1 pick, but I mean, I'm going to push back. We talked pre-pod. I'm not a big fireworks guy. Listen, if you should not go number 1, if every time when it's over, you go, that's it. Every fireworks show, you say that, whether it's good, bad, other than Bay City. I went to Bay City once when I was like a little kid.
Right.
Now that's a fireworks show. That's what George Washington envisioned for fireworks. No offense to Corunna. I love the town. I mean, you sit there waiting for like an hour for it to start. You're laying in the grass, you're getting all itchy, you got a blanket maybe. It's just, I think I just think they're a little bit overrated to me.
Fair.
But parking is always a hassle. Getting out, you're not getting home till midnight. Even in Corunna, Bay City, you didn't get home till 4 a.m. It's like, they're just overrated. They're awesome, but I think they've kind of lost their way in a sense of what they were supposed to be.
I think a big part of it is kind of like what you said, depending on your location. Ted being right there at Lake Manitou, you're on the pontoon probably, or maybe you're sitting on your back
right
deck.
in the yard. Yeah, I used to do it on the boat.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about dealing with the traffic at McCurdy Park or wherever you are. Same with up in Ludington where my parents' place is.
Yeah,
we can just walk right down to the beach, watch them shoot the fireworks out over the lake, walk back home. So that's probably a pretty big part of it. Fireworks, would it be in my top 3? No. It is cool. It's a tradition. It's 4th of July. Yes, it is a cool part of 4th of July wouldn't be in my personal top 3. My one of one is the food. I think the 4th of July spread, the cookout, everyone has their different little things that they do with the cookout. The 4th of July overall spread, I would put far above Thanksgiving, far above Christmas, any other, traditional big holiday feast that you have. I just love the hot dogs on the grill, the burgers on the grill. If you do grilled chicken, barbecue chicken, something like that, all the summer salads are so much better. Like the strawberry salad, pasta salad, taco salad, all the other kind of stuff. It's hot out. You want something cold. You're eating those cold salads. You're usually washing it down with like lemonade or, whatever your beverage you're having, and you're hungry because you've been at the beach all day or you've been out doing stuff. So the 4th of July holiday spread food, and the desserts usually, you got some really good desserts, ice cream sandwiches, something like that. That is my far and away one of one for 4th of July week.
Yeah, that was my number one. You took it right from under me. You can't beat it. Like I said it before, the food spread, like it's arguably up there better than Thanksgiving. I'm gonna say it. It's not arguable. It is better. Everything you said, the pasta salad, like the underrated things you don't even think about, the salads, like that's number 10 of the things you think about. They're awesome. So I'm with you. I think that was honestly a better pick than the fireworks, but the fireworks had to go 1-1. It's just American thing to do. They had to go 1-1.
America.
All right. I'm gonna lose this draft because it's like I'm just gonna lose it. That's where I'm at. I've accepted it. So my number one, watching the hot dog eating contest. I love it. Except this year. Now, to be honest, this is what sucks.
I was gonna say, except for this year, right?
You gotta boycott it, maybe. Yep. I don't know the full details on the whole Joey Chestnut gate, but if he's not competing, man, I mean, what mustard hot dog hat is really being given away this thing? I mean, he's the king until he gets knocked off. But something about that, I love the whole pageantry of it. I'm a nerd for it. I love getting there 11:30, watching the announcer. The guy, I don't even know the guy's name, but he knows what his gig is, and that's to put out one hell of a show. And that's what that guy does every year, announcing people coming out. You got Joey Chestnut coming out to, I don't know what the song is, The Who. I don't know, like Teenage Wasteland. I don't even know what it's called, but it's a great song. Everything about the hot dog contest, I appreciate. Even last year, it's like, even when it's like it got canceled because it's so hot, Joey Chestnut's like rallying the troops. There's always a storyline and something you appreciate from that noon hot dog eating contest. The perfect way to start the 4th of July. Usually you watch that, then you go do whatever else you want to do. So my number one pick, third pick, overall pick, watching the hot dog eating contest.
One final thing on that, you forgot the guy that's in our business, the announcer. That guy is classic.
That's what
he was saying.
I don't know who his name is. He's always got like a 1940s suit on.
The hat.
You got to tune in for that guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fair.
All right, my number two.
Snake it or snake back. Yep.
So like, I'm not going to give away any picks here, but like drinking is obviously a good one. That's all I want to throw out, but I don't ever really indulge in that. So it's like, it's stolen valor if I take it. So I'm going to go with number 4 on my list, and that's outdoor music. I usually always find myself at McCurdy Park. There's always some sort of live band there. For some reason, I always feel like they're playing like Bruce Springsteen music. Maybe that's just the same cover band every year. I don't know. But Born to Run, I swear, gets a play right before the fireworks start year after year there. I just love sitting there. So who doesn't love outdoor music, let alone 4th of July? Everybody's vibes are up. I love sitting and enjoying those outdoor concerts on 4th of July.
That's fair.
Yeah.
If you're at a park, like you said, McCurdy Park, or, somewhere, and I would even go as far, the live music, if it's a band, takes it a notch up, but even just like listening to your own music. If, you've got a speaker out in the yard or whatever, and you're just hanging out, listening to some music, you really can't beat it, especially on a beautiful day. I bet, Ted, you crank some too. You have a probably nice little speaker set up in your backyard.
I've got a Bluetooth speaker that looks like a rock, and it plays pretty good. And I don't play the music maybe you guys are into. I find it, and I am patriotic. I play patriotic music, That's what I play.
What's the
Toby Keith?
About patriotic music, I'm trying to think.
Toby Keith, man.
Toby Keith,
Bruce Springsteen.
I thought you meant like that Yankee Doodle song. Yankee Doodle.
That gets mixed in there too. It's quite a mix.
No, I mean, yeah, 4th of July, you got to do it. Same with Christmas time. You're going to play Christmas music.
Absolutely.
So it makes sense. No, music's a good one. I honestly hadn't really thought of it in that sense. So my number 2, you guys know that I'm a big beach guy. It's if you're in an area where you can go to the beach, it's going to the beach on 4th of July. Or if you can mix in like Ted living on the lake, taking the pontoon out, something around that, something outdoors. If you're camping and you're just hanging out outside, because you're camping, something like that, just being outdoors, beach, on the lake, in a campground, something like that. That's my number 2. I just love the summer. I love the hot weather. I think it's fun being outside, sweaty, like swimming in the lake, all that kind of stuff. So that's my easy number 2, because then you do that all day, and then you go back to the campsite or your house or whatever, and you have that huge meal, and it's just the perfect 4th of July.
Wow.
It really is.
Yeah. Well, I had go to the beach, but you kind of combined go to the beach and go to a campground, and I had camping as one of mine as well. But you took them. That's okay.
When have you? I love that you camped on 4th of July. I guess I didn't know that about you.
Oh yeah, yeah. And we're talking about our whole life. What we have on our list.
Yep.
I've been around a lot longer than you guys. Yeah, there was a time when we used to play softball and go camping on the 4th of July and play in a softball tournament.
I would say you could take camping, because I didn't say specifically camping. It was just the like being outside. So if you want to use camping as your number 2, I'd allow it.
If I say camping, can I also say enjoying the campfire and roasting marshmallows and that type of thing as one topic?
The whole experience of camping. Yeah.
That's there. And then I get another one, right? My third one. Yep. All right. You guys might laugh at this. It kind of goes hand in hand with music. Go to the parade. It's got to have marching bands, but go to the 4th of July parade earlier in the day. That's on my list. I love parades. I'm just
interesting.
They have to be good parades, but I do like parades, and they got to have marching bands.
Yeah. Now, have you ever been in a parade, like back in the day with your little league team, or
Oh yeah, we marched in the Corona parade every year. They always had a Memorial Day parade too, and I won 2nd place in my bike decorating.
That's awesome.
The mayor at that time.
Okay. So
I feel like you might have shared a picture of this before.
Yeah.
So this is I mean, we are all making personal pictures. Clearly, you love the parades because you were a parade, pinata's not the right term, but you paraded around in the parade.
It's fair, right? It's fair. You're right. Because it just crossed my mind. I was also in the parade as a Cub Scout, so
you love parades.
I love parades.
Tossing candy out and doing all that. Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever actually sat and watched a parade, believe it or not. I honestly don't think I ever have.
That's kind of surprising.
I've partaken in one where you were like a little calf dribbling around the city. That I did.
Yeah.
I even think I left that, to be honest, now that I'm remembering it, when I was like 7 or 8. I think I remember veering off when you went around the football field. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go sit in the bleachers, man. Like I think I got the whole gist of this parade thing. Yep. I'm gonna go call it. But all right.
Did you guys do
people love parades? They're
off topic a little bit. Did you guys do field day parades from your schools to the football field? And for field day, did you parade as a class? Do you remember doing that? We didn't do
parades. I'm trying to remember now how we got to field day from Elsa Meyer. We must have just rode buses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Field day is an all-time day.
Yeah.
Yeah, field day is a good one. That if we ever did a draft list of school events, I feel like field day might be number 1 for all of us. So my third, I went food, and then being at the beach or on the water or whatever as my number 2. Number 3, you kind of teased it or said it a little bit, Ted, but I like, if you're with a big group of family or friends, the softball game that usually breaks out, or a wiffle ball game, or cornhole, or just tossing the football around, or just whatever kind of little activity you do like that. There's so many yard games nowadays that people have. You're on the beach and you just bring out a little kickball, you start doing beach volleyball. I like anything like that. Even, you get your grandparents involved, and, you get your aunt and uncle involved who haven't ran around the bases in 27 years or whatever. And they're out there playing kickball with you and stuff. I think, and you got the little grandkids, all the little kids are playing. I just think that kind of stuff is so fun.
Yeah, I was going to take playing wiffle ball next. I love it. I mean, I actually have a little bit of a bad memory from wiffle ball on 4th of July. We were playing one time when I was probably 10, 11, 12. And the neighbor like freaked out because we like had like a base like in his like maybe 3 feet into his front yard. Came out like not very patriotic. The guy was cussing up a storm. Like a bunch of kids like, all right, I guess we'll just take our bat and ball and like go home. That was basically it. So yeah, wiffle ball you can't beat at any time, but 4th of July you have the numbers to really field a good match. Right. So that's also a big plus of the 4th of July and the wiffle ball kickball games.
Well, you guys brought up some sports there, and you briefly touched upon it. Would you say nowadays number one for those kind of activities would be cornhole? If you have, like you talked about, grandpas and younger kids and just playing cornhole, where would that rank, would you guys think?
I like cornhole a lot. I mean, I remember it getting popular. Like when I was in college, it really started to get popular. It's funny. My mom texted me a couple days ago. They saw a story it was on, like Good Morning America or something like that. And they were talking about kids now getting scholarships to college to go play cornhole.
Wow.
And it's just crazy to think about that. But that is just a classic because it's one of those everyone can play.
Right.
I mean, I guess if you can move your arm like that, everyone can play cornhole. So that is a good one.
Cornhole also, it's like, I don't know, it's such a simple sport, but also it is actually fairly entertaining to sit and watch.
Yeah.
It is a good game. I think it's number one. I don't even know. There's a lot of these other ones that have like tried to kind of take it, like Can Jam. What's the volleyball one where you spike ball? Like, I think that's the worst game ever made. I don't get why that's even a thing, really.
Yeah.
I think it's unarguably cornhole is number one in yard games. So
now, do you guys have some honorable mentions?
I got
Jared.
You got one left
here.
Okay.
So my last pick, I was going to pick wiffle ball, but I had to transition. Cornhole was on my list.
I feel like I've stolen a few of your guys' picks.
I only planned 7 things. I was struggling to even get to 7.
I know.
Because you hate 4th of July so much.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I got on my list. I'm staring at it. Yeah, I got
take the day drinking. You brought up the drinking. If you're hanging out with your friends, having a few drinks.
Yeah. I'm just getting my heart's on cornhole. Yeah, I mean, it kind of got stolen right from beneath my feet right there. Cornhole. It's everything we just talked about. It's the best game. I love competing in it, man. It's something about that game always gets competitive juices flowing. Usually it's against your buddies. Usually there's some beer mixed in, which adds to the competitive juices. Cornhole. That's my 3rd pick. So
now I will say, Ted, this is an old school one. I'd be curious, Jared, I'm sure you've played it, but how much? I'm not sure. Horseshoes.
I knew you were going to say that.
I love playing horseshoes. We grew up playing horseshoes.
Right.
And my parents had a pit. My grandparents had a pit. We would go places and play horseshoes. My mother-in-law that's still in Corona, they have a nice horseshoe pit in their backyard. But it's funny, my wife doesn't really like to play because she's like, I can barely throw the actual the shoe. Tough. So that's where cornhole comes in. For the most part, anyone can do that. I love playing horseshoes though. Did you guys play that a lot, Ted, growing up?
Oh, I did. Yeah, we had horseshoes. In fact, my first house that I purchased, I put in a horseshoe pit.
Yeah.
But I will say horseshoes. Wow. Horseshoes is the OG, but cornhole is the king now.
Cornhole school.
No question.
It's just more practical, man. And so you don't gotta. What's fun? I guess this is a deep dark memory. I actually competed in a 4th of July horseshoe game. When I was like probably 12, as basically a dare by a buddy at McCurdy Park in Corona. They do a tournament for horseshoe. I saw the bracket and I'm like, dude, I want in on this thing. Like, who knows? I was a cocky middle schooler. Like, I might win this damn thing. And I've never played this game. I literally got like basically swept. I didn't even know the rules. I didn't know the scoring. Showed up and I was like, my match was done in like 10 minutes. Like, well,
did you get beat by some old farmer?
Yeah, it was like it was so uneventful that it's like there's really no story to it. As soon as it started, I was done.
It's funny. So a couple side stories. So up in Ludington, it was when my parents first purchased the house. Before they moved up there, they didn't have a horseshoe pit in the backyard. And one of my best friends, him and I were up there, and we were like, we asked my parents, could we they had the stakes, they had everything for it, they just hadn't put them in yet. And my buddy and I were like, can we do it? And I probably reluctantly, but they were probably like, go ahead and do it.
Right.
So my buddy and I, we up there, everything's sand. You start digging into the ground.
Oh,
and
it's magical, sand. Man.
That's the best.
Yeah, but we had the cool idea of let's make one of the pits actual sand from the beach.
Oh.
Let's take 2 5-gallon buckets down to the beach, fill them with sand. You don't realize how heavy sand is.
Oh, dude.
I mean, we filled those
farmers'
buckets.
carries, man.
We got like 20 yards probably away from the beach, and we were like, "Screw this! What are we doing? This is a terrible idea."
I
But
tell you what, though, the theory of that, I like it. That reminds me of like Bryson DeChambeau when he won the U.S. Open and scooped sand out of the bunker where he hit that shot, put it in the trophy.
Yeah,
I appreciate the sentiment of that, but yeah, it
was a terrible
heavier
idea.
than you imagine.
And then I'm pretty sure someone told us that like technically that's illegal to like steal
Right.
sand from the beach. So there's that whole side to it too. Yeah, what was the other? I was gonna say something else about horseshoes, but yeah, I love playing horseshoes. It's fun. My grandparents also had one. I don't know if Jared or Ted, you played this. It was like washers. They had like little cups in the yard.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
You would throw they were bigger washers. You would just like toss washers into these little cups in the yard. That was always a fun one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's like I think cornhole. I don't know. Is cornhole like a relatively new game? Was it around when you were like a kid, Ted?
No.
I was gonna say I remember when I was in college at Grand Valley, like 2 people had cornhole boards. Like no one knew what cornhole was.
New game.
Yeah, like if you ended up at this party and they had cornhole, it was like, what is this game? We're throwing beanbags into this board, and then all of a sudden it blew up. The other story I was gonna say, I was at a wedding a couple of years ago, one of my wife's friends, and there were some people there actually they live in Owasso, and there's like serious cornhole leagues in Owasso. At the time I didn't really know about. And they play in these leagues. So at this wedding, the night before, we were all playing cornhole. And one of the guys who was really, really good at cornhole, he was teaching me how to do it. And it was just, I usually played, I'm competitive, athletic person, you know how to throw a cornhole, but he was teaching me like the proper way to throw.
Oh yeah.
And there actually is technique to it. There actually is technique to throwing it.
I can't put my finger on it, but with cornhole, I don't know if it depends on the boards or the bags. Like sometimes when I play, we do it every year at our family on-away trip coming up in a few 3-4 weeks.
Yep.
I'm either like maybe the best player there or the worst. It just depends on the day and the vibes. Like you'll get blanked like 21-0 by somebody, and the next match you'll win. Like it just is. It blows my mind. You never know what person is showing up that day to throw the bags.
Yeah, Goose is always my what is he? My
brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law. There you go. Help me out. I had a Biden moment there.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's good.
Goose is really good. Yeah, he's played
because you guys always there's always a little bit of money on it too, right?
Oh yeah. There's an entry fee, and it gets pretty intense when it's down to the last 2. It's definitely the entertainment of our weekend for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Jared, so you listen to those lists right there. You listen to each of our top 3s, a couple sidebars too. How can you say that 4th of July is number 7? Was it number 7 on your holiday? Like
way down.
Number 6, only New Year's Eve below it. Again, it has so much to do with where it falls, and you don't even think about that. Labor Day, like think about this: Labor Day weekend, Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
It's a 3-day holiday basically. This is just one random offshoot day. You always got to work. You either got to work the next day, and it just is so overhyped. You know what? Honestly, I freaking forgot. This is what I was going to take 3rd, and I blanked on it. What my favorite 4th of July activity, honestly, is golfing. Because 4th of July is the one day of the year in the summer, perfect weather. Nobody is on the course. It is what you call go zone golfing. I usually will play 36 holes on 4th of July if I don't work. That is the one thing that I do love about that day, is that everybody's up north or distracted doing who knows what. The courses are ghost towns. It is magical.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. So you got it in. We'll give it to you. We got to have a few honorable mentions, don't we?
Yeah, that's honorable mention.
I got a couple. I mean, you brought it up north, just going up north. That's part of the 4th of July fun. When and I like to go back when I was a kid. When I was a kid, we used to have a camper that we'd set up in our backyard, and we'd camp out overnight in the backyard, and then the parents went to bed, and we'd run rampant through Corunna. So that was part of the 4th of July.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Also, back in the day, the Speedway always had a 4th of July show. And I went to a few of those, and they always had the show and then fireworks afterwards. So those are a couple of my honorable mentions.
That'd be cool. Yeah, the Wausau Speedway's had a resurgence also. So
It's
I wonder
huge
if
now.
I wonder if they would get, or I wonder if they have a 4th of July event coming back or something.
Right.
A couple of my honorable mentions were things that were already said. Fireworks, yes, not my top 3, but it'd be an honorable mention. I do enjoy them. And parades, I do, depending on where you're at, especially if you have kids love the parades. Parades can be kind of cool. So those were kind of in my honorable mention.
You know what I wish I would have picked? This is more so when I was a kid. And also 4th of July for a kid, it's great. I mean, every day's summer. So,
Exactly.
a lot of my complaints about it don't even apply.
It's because you have to work
when
now.
you were a kid, I think I maybe only did it once or twice when I was a kid. You go to the fireworks stand and it's like the ultimate toy store. It's toys
Right.
that fire things. It's like you get the tank that you light up in your the street outside your house. Like honestly, I think I love that type of firework more than like the big ones that shoot up. You're just messing around with your friends or whoever, like your family, just lighting stuff off in your driveway. Like that might be more entertaining than the actual show.
Yeah,
that's fair. And along those lines, where do you guys stand on sparklers? I'm gonna pull a Jared here and say sparklers are the most overrated thing ever.
They are.
The kids always get hit with the sparks, and then someone gets like sparked in the eye. It's just awful.
If people got sparklers, I want to hold it for 30 seconds. I mean, I'm never going to go out and buy it. So, I mean, I guess I am saying they're overrated. It's an interesting cat that goes and gets the sparklers for everybody because I'm with you. What is so fun about them? But if somebody's got them, I want to hold on to one.
Sparklers were on my honorable mention list. I mean, when you're a little kid, I mean, you kind of outgrow
this whole thing.
Oh yeah,
exactly. Make a shape. Yeah.
And a couple other things too, like I don't know if you guys ever went to Cedar Point on the 4th of July or a Tiger game on the 4th of July.
No.
But those are kind of cool too.
Because Tigers games, they probably shoot off fireworks, I would assume, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, and last year it was kind of like I think my parents actually went to the game. It was the Tigers lost, I think 1-0. Scooble made his debut last season on the 4th of July. And I want to say Reese Olson pitched. Yeah, Scooble pitched I think 3 or 4 innings and basically a rehab start. And then Reese Olson pitched the rest of the way, and it was like a shutout. It was ended up being a bummer because they lost, but it was still kind of a cool game to see both those guys pitch so well that day.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk a little sports coming up here. Before we jump into another break, I just want to tell you about Detroit Jerky. We did talk about that we're going to have a taste test coming up. It's a vegan, gluten-free jerky, the best one in the game. If you want details on Detroit Jerky, one of our great sponsors, you can buy it on their website at DetroitJerkyLLC.com, and orders over $30 get free shipping. So we'll talk a little sports right after this.